the Terrapins winning.
The Big Dog Postgame Show is brought to you by Viener X Consulting. We make your company work. And by Rick Jacklich, the big dog himself, at the Jacklich Law Group.
Usually, we wait till the game's over and start talking about postgame. But I'm telling you, the weather's bad. It is freezing on the sideline here. I'm sure we'll get to that in the postgame show. What a comeback by the Terps. So it's 7-6, minute 27 to go on the game clock, 29 on the shot clock. This is the beginning of the Big Dog postgame show. I'm Wayne on the field, and we'll see how this game concludes. But what a comeback by the Maryland Terps. Now we're ready. Let's get that 8.1 seconds. Kolar and Stamos up top, the shorties. Dean Mitty, A.J. Larkin. And clock's running. It's down to 4 seconds. Shot call. Welcome to the Big Dog postgame show. Today from the Ridley Athletic Complex at Loyola, Maryland. Storms back. And it was a long storm to come back there in the fourth quarter. Eric Spanos has 4 goals. Keegan gets a game winner in overtime. And Maryland rolls on and faces Syracuse next week in College Park on the 15th. Terps are 2-0 on the season. Look, it looked like for most of the afternoon, Loyola was going to win this game. The crowd was into it. This is a great place to play. If you haven't been here, you got to come try it. It is a fantastic lacrosse facility. The crowd has been in every time I've been here. But somewhere along the line, Maryland, who was pressured offensively, they couldn't hold on to the ball. They got stuck on one side of the field. The rotation wasn't working. And all of a sudden, Eric Spanos started to take the game over. He's played power forward at Maryland. We've waited for moments like this when the skill level matched what you saw on the field. And today, with those 4 goals, he was there when Maryland needed it. As the Terps struggled throughout the afternoon, you have to give credit to the defense. The defense made enough plays to keep Maryland in this game. Logan made enough key saves to keep Maryland in this game. And as we talk to Bruce about this comeback, and he'll be on in a moment, you were sort of certain that Maryland just wasn't going to get the momentum to get to the 5 goals. It was 5-2 at one point. So overall, the highlights speak for themselves. On the weather side, it really was legitimately cold out here. I'm dressed for the weather. I was shivering on the sideline. I asked John Tillman about the weather, and he said it didn't bother him, but I think you get that when you win the game. So, I really saw great effort from Loyola, and in many sets, Maryland was lucky to win this game. But you have to give credit that the Terps got going in that fourth quarter and were able to pull off the comeback. You could talk about what they did at the X, and Maryland's very effective without Luke Weirman. Didn't really see a big drop-off the past 2 weeks. We'll see how this season goes. But the offense, the turnovers, I believe they had 16 turnovers through 3 quarters to the Terps. A lot of that was forced. So big props to what Loyola did today. It was a fantastic game. In fact, it felt like it was an NCAA tournament game. And you could almost make that feeling that Maryland was really playing for the season there when they came back and had that kind of feel. And it was that kind of split crowd today. Terps travel well, and fan bases were there. A very respectful rivalry, but it is a rivalry game. So we'll see what Bruce has to say, and then we'll be back to wrap this up. This is the Big Dog Postgame Show, brought to you by the Big Dog himself, Rick Jacklich, and Viener X Consulting. We'll be back at Loyola in a moment.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't have believed it. University of Maryland 8, Loyola 7 in overtime. Just a shocking win, down 5-2 after 3 quarters. Maryland did not have a great first 3 quarters. 2 goals, dominating the game, but unable to score. Great goalie play by Loyola's goalie, but then all of a sudden at 5-2, things started to turn, and mainly on the back of Eric Spanos, who wound up with 4 goals. But it was almost unbelievable how this game played out. Maryland didn't have it, just making mistake after mistake. They only had 19 shots. I mean, that is incredible. 19 shots. 13 out of 18 faceoffs they won. Dominated possession, but could not put the ball in the cage. And Loyola, to their credit, with only 1 starter back on offense, just used the energy of the crowd to get a 5-2 lead over Maryland. And I just about threw in the towel. And I never do that on Maryland, but the offense was so quiet. And then all of a sudden, Spanos, he started to take advantage of the shorties. I think the shorties got tired for Loyola. And all of a sudden, they were getting matchups that worked. And finally, Matthew Keegan comes around the back of the cage, spins up to the top, fires from the winner. And what should be noted there is George Stamos's ground ball pickup that gave Maryland possession that led to the goal. DK had the first goal and 7th goal. Could have had more. There were some missed shots. Everybody could have had more. Maryland should have won this game easy, but it's a miracle they won the game. I have to tell you the truth. I mean, Loyola always plays Maryland tough there. And it was just annoying watching on TV because I'm still down from my surgery. And just watching Maryland struggle was incredible. But, it's funny, my good buddy Glenn Clark, who was doing the game on TV, kept saying the game's not over, that Maryland can get on a run, and he doesn't think 5 goals is enough. But I thought this game was done. But you know what? Never kind of out of John Tillman team. Wayne kept saying it to me from the game. He says, I'm telling you, this thing's not over. The game I was watching was over. But all of a sudden, Spanos and Kelly kind of took over. And Matthew Keegan's been the one portal real star who's been great. We need some more help from the other guys, though. But Matthew Keegan got the winning goal. He had a hat trick last week. Terps win. It's that simple, man. Terps win 8-7. At the end of the day, they're 2-0 with Hughes coming to town, and not much else to say.
So Terp fans, if your family's injured in a car crash, you'd be barking mad not to call Rick and the Big Dogs at the Jacklich Law Group at 855-BIG-DOG-1.
But as you know, Coach, it's not the last win, it's the next win that's so important. And that's why we continue to hustle, continue to work so hard for all of our clients to earn that name, the big dogs from the small firm. Just like you do. You get your guys hustling all the time.
That's why we love you, Rick.
And most of all,
go Terps!
Well, you just heard the great Bruce Posner. He's watched this team for years and years, and you can make the case that he is Maryland's #1 lacrosse fan on top of covering the team. And these games mean so much to him, to all of us. This has become a sport that's been so accessible. You get to know the players, you get to know the coaches. It has been a fantastic ride, and you start to look at a schedule that really picks up. Syracuse, Princeton, I mean, it gets hard from here. Really pointing towards a game against Notre Dame in Atlanta in the first week of March. This is a big-time schedule. The Terps have to clean up what they can. This team has not played that long together. You got a lot of guys getting minutes that transferred in. And while it's working off and on, it's not the well-oiled machine that you think you're going to see when you get later in the season. So it's a slugfest game. I got texts throughout this game, can Maryland pull this comeback off? But I talked to Bruce after the third quarter, said, it's there. All you have to do is light the spark. The spark was lit. Let's see how that carries forward to Syracuse. Syracuse has been scoring goals like crazy the past 2 weeks. They roll into College Park. Remember, the women play first. You get the women's game over at their side, and you can come over to CQ Stadium and see the men. So, boy, it's nice to leave with a smile. This did not look like it was pointing that way. This is Wayne Viener. Of course, Bruce is in the studio. Mason and Tony away from the camera this week. We'll catch up with them hopefully after Syracuse. Good afternoon from Baltimore. Maryland takes it in overtime.